This video is only one part of an in-depth review, so check out the rest at thegoodride.com. Thanks for watching. This, my friends, is the Yes Ghost 2021 153, doing an update with a size that fits me the best. And I rode this with Burton Taurus, Burton Kendos, Burton SLXs, and Union Atlases. I got some pretty good conditions with this early season. I had a pretty decent powder day. I had some good groomers and some mediocre groomers and some moderate groomers with some hard spots, but still some really fun spots for turning. So, to give you a short summary, the Yes Ghost is the most aggressive of these three boards. It is a very powerful, very drivey, technical, aggressive all-mountain board, a term I used to use a lot. I have just got bored of it over the years, but this is the best way to sum it up. Next to it is the Standard, that is much more mellow, forgiving, buttery. It has a much mellower camber. And then on the other side is the Yes Globe Traditionalist, which is kind of in between the two, and more my personal favorite. So back to the Ghost. It's a one-board quiver for those that want a board that can ride a hard-charging, hard-carving mountain freestyle board on groomer days, but then set it back and get directional float on powder days. And that's what this board and all these boards do, and I'll be comparing these. And if you want the most aggressive, most car-friendly, most technical, closest to traditional camber, you want the Ghost. When it comes to sizing, my size 9 boot feels most comfortable on the narrower waisted Yes Globe Traditionalist. But these 53s are so much better for me in the Ghost and the Standard than the 56s. They fit my size 9 feet much better. These boards could handle my weight much better than I thought they could. And especially this Ghost, mainly because it just had so much camber and it was so aggressive. It was nice to be a heavier guy on that and to kind of mellow out that board and make it feel less aggressive. And what's interesting is this 56 has less surface area than these two 53s. The Ghost and the Standard felt like more board than the Globe, even though it's a 56 versus a 53. Now when it comes to shape, I love this directional volume twin, that's what they call it. What that means is the tail has a little less surface area than the nose, but the side cut's true twin, the tail has the same width as the nose. It's a very cool shape because it's very versatile, like I described. It makes that tail sink a little better in powder, but when it's on groomers and the nose and tail aren't in the snow, it feels almost like a true twin. It's basically a true twin between the feet, and then the nose and tail are just slightly different shapes but the same width. Now when it comes to camber, this is by far the most aggressive of the three. It just stands almost by itself. It is modern camber, that's what Yes calls it. I call it mostly camber. There's just a little bit of early rise in the nose and tail, or just a mellow transition into the nose and tail. And it's more forgiving than old school traditional camber. This thing would just be unruly if it was straight on full camber. But it is still a massive jump ahead of the Yes Globe Traditionalist, which has a lot less camber, but a mellow, flat to moderate early rise. The Yes Standard has a more mellow camber between the feet and a little more rocker in the nose and tail than all three of these. So this makes this pretty locked in, pretty unforgiving, not very easy to skid a turn when you get off your game. It feels much more technical and aggressive, and it's for that kind of rider who just really likes to go big and understands the consequences if you fail. Now let's talk flex here. Same kind of flex as the Yes Globe Traditionalist, just kind of medium stiff throughout, but on snow it feels the same, where the other boards on snow don't feel that way. They feel more mellow. This took some work to butter. This took some work to ollie. You have to be strong to make this work, and this would be a really fun board for me mid to late season when I've got my legs underneath me and I've got my skills about me. Early season, this was like, whew, I better be on my game. This took all my work to get it to butter. Then I'd get on the standard and I'd just butter onto my ass because it's so incredibly easy. Then I'd get on the Globe Traditionalist, and it was just the right amount of flex for me and how I like to be year round. When it comes to speed, this camber, even though they all have a pretty similar flex, this camber profile just makes it so much better at speed. This just feels like the board I want to bomb with of all three of these. The Globe Traditionalist is next in line, but it's a good step down, and the standard is my least favorite to point at because it just feels a little more chattery. That extra rocker seems to make the nose and tail bounce a little more, and that mellow camber doesn't seem to make it feel as fast and as stable. The bass glide is pretty good with this board, but the Yes Globe Traditionalist has the best bass. I noticed a slight difference there. I don't know if it's perceived or not, but all three of them were waxed with the same wax the same day and rode day in, day out over different conditions, and I like the Yes Globe Traditionalist's bass glide the best, and these two were the same. But it's still very good and very doable, and it's not something you have to wax every day. When it comes to uneven terrain, the Yes Ghost was the most unruly when it came to like weaving around bumps and negotiating messy snow, but it was the best for powering over stuff because it had that extra camber. It could power over stuff at just a slightly higher speed. They're all moderate speed boards for all day riding, all mountain, all day, all condition riding. They all do a great job. But again, this is more technical. That extra camber just makes everything a little more challenging in uneven terrain. When it comes to edge hold, this thing's a champ. It borders on being an excellent board for, let's say, East Coast riding. If you see a lot of hard snow and you want really good grip, this disruption in the side cut, this mid bite, just gives you a nice little bite at each insert on each side of your foot. So there's just a little bite inside your bindings and a little bite here, and it bites really hard and has really good grip in harder snow, and it doesn't grab too much in soft snow, and I really like that. I think it's a great edge hold technology. When it comes to turn initiation, it's kind of medium for my specs. My size 9s could not turn this as fast, this 53, as fast as I could the 56 Yes Globe Traditionalist. That I could just dart in and out. It was medium fast bordering on fast. I would call it fast. And this is medium bordering on medium fast. It got where I needed it to go, and it felt really good doing it. The turning experience is really fun, but it's a very powerful drivey turn, and you feel that mostly camber thing going on there, and it really carves well. It just springs out of a turn. It's the most powerful carver out of all three of these boards, and I love this board for that. It's just so unforgiving compared to these other two, especially the Yes Standard, and just to a slightly lesser extent the Yes Globe Traditionalist, that it's just hard to want to ride this all the time. It just feels like when I'm feeling great and I want to go out and carve hard, this is the one. And it's great for carving in harder snow. But one thing that's really cool about this is this mid-bite technology makes this board turn faster than it should because the waist is a little narrower. The side cut tapers in at the waist and then comes back out over the bindings. So you have a wider platform, a more stable area there, but then a narrower waist so you can turn a little faster than you would if it was just a normal side cut. When it comes to powder, I was really surprised at the Yes Ghost because I thought it would be significantly less floaty than the Globe Traditionalist and even more so the Standard. But it hung in there with them for having all that camber, and when using the setback inserts with a full-size disc, can't do it with a mini disc, so you need a full-size disc binding if you're going to get these and utilize these setback inserts. But if you have full-size discs, this is going to be pretty good in powder for all that camber, and being a directional twin or a directional volume twin like they call it, if you set it all the way back. And yeah, it took a little more back foot weight than the others, but it was still very doable, and it's great to see these slam back inserts this year and the year before. When it comes to switch And mountain freestyle and even dabbling in park, which is not my forte these days, probably never was. Maybe I'm just looking through a rose-colored glass as I'm looking into the past. But this Ghost is great for aggressive mountain freestyle riders who like big booters, like getting big air, like carving hard, regular and switch, like boosting out a pipe, but don't really prefer jibbing as much. Or if they jib, they can handle an aggressive board with a lot of camber that would buck you a little more than your average jib board. If you want to jib, I say go yes standard. And if you want something in between both of them and you're willing to sacrifice a little edge hold, then you got the Globe Traditionalist. So overall, I really like the Ghost, but I'm not sure if it's the kind of board I'd like to have as my one board to take on a road trip, just because it's so aggressive. When I'm not in an aggressive mood, it really sketches me because you feel that extra camber in comparison to both of these. But if you're somebody who wants mellow, go standard. If you want something in between minus the edge hold, go Globe. And if you want something aggressive and powerful and just aggressive all mountain, a term I used to use a lot but I kind of got bored of, you want the Yes Ghost. All our reviews are a best effort, objective opinion from an average rider's perspective. There's no brand oversight, and we're free to say whatever we want. We send back everything unless it's a favorite, then we ask to keep those or straight up buy them. Now if you need advice, fill out the eHarmony profile in the Contact Us section of the site. It's the only way I can help you properly. If you want to support us, and if what we reviewed appeals to you, it helps if you buy through our links. So, thanks for watching.